Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with scenes from the 1987 Iraq War, including disturbing images of dead bodies. Later, a man named Latif Yahia is seen driving a car. More war scenes follow, with Latif Yahia appearing in some of them, and eventually being taken to a certain location. Latif is summoned to the palace of Saddam Hussein, the president of Iraq. Latif, an Iraqi army officer, finds himself en route to Baghdad in his military uniform, following orders from Saddam Hussein's son Uday. Upon reaching the palace, Latif is directed to a room, where unexpectedly, Uday joins him, offering cigarettes and juice. Uday nostalgically recalls their school days, insisting they were friends, but Latif corrects him, clarifying that they were merely classmates. During their conversation, Uday reveals a newspaper featuring a picture of Saddam Hussein, and questions Latif's recognition of the person. Latif affirms his familiarity with Saddam, but Uday discloses that the man in the image is not Saddam, but his doppelganger, Fawaz al-Amari. Uday proposes the idea of Latif becoming his double, suggesting they could be twins. Despite being given a day to contemplate this proposition, Latif staunchly refuses, asserting that he cannot relinquish his own identity. Uday, angered by Latif's refusal, exits the room, leaving his guards to take Latif to a prison, where he faces torture and relentless pressure to reconsider. The core of the conflict revolves around the desire to use Latif as a body double for Saddam's son Uday. The next day, Uday visits the prison to inquire about Latif's decision. Latif responds defiantly by spitting on Uday. Unfazed, Uday turns to his advisor, Munyam, and instructs him to use coercion to change Latif's mind. Munyam informs Latif that he has a mere 5 minutes to reconsider, otherwise, his family will face dire consequences. Faced with the imminent threat to his family, he reluctantly accepts. Subsequently, Uday's servant, Yassim, becomes Latif's guide, outlining the various tasks and responsibilities he must undertake. Yassim familiarizes Latif with Uday's living spaces, including his rooms and wardrobes. In the evening, as Latif attempts to reach out to his family through a phone call, Munyam intervenes, informing him that such communication is prohibited. Latif, expressing his concern for his family, explains that he can write a letter to his mother every week. He emphasizes that the lack of contact may lead his family to believe he has been killed in Iran. Munyam coldly informs that in Uday's eyes, he is already considered dead to his family, as Uday has no intention of allowing him to return. The next day, 2 German doctors arrive to assess Latif. Examining his facial features, they undertake surgeries to replicate Uday's appearance. Once the procedures conclude, Uday instructs Latif to mimic his smile and his hairstyle. Munyam hands Latif a file containing Uday's life story for him to study. Additionally, Latif receives a wardrobe makeover, with new luxurious suits identical to Uday's. A friend of Uday pays Latif a visit, presenting him with videotapes showcasing brutal interrogations and torture. The intention is to familiarize Latif with the consequences faced by those who oppose the regime. Overwhelmed by the disturbing footage, Latif leaves the room. Munyam inquires about the abrupt departure, and Latif, expressing moral reservations, insists he cannot be part of such cruelty. Munyam counters, justifying the actions as necessary against criminals and deserters, labeling them enemies of Iraq. In an angry departure, Latif grapples with the ethical dilemma posed by his new role. During the night, Uday takes Latif to a nightclub, introducing him to Sarab, one of Uday's lovers. Uday falsely claims Latif as his brother to Sarab, who engages in conversation with Latif, finding him attractive and intriguing. In an attempt to impress him, she dances before Latif. Seizing an unguarded moment, Latif leaves the club, taking Uday's Ferrari to visit his family. Upon learning of Latif's absence, Uday dispatches his guards to find him. Latif arrives at his family's house, only to encounter Uday's guards leaving. They capture Latif and bring him before Uday, who brutally beats him, emphasizing the need for discipline to prevent chaos. Once Latif recovers, he attempts to emulate Uday's violent behavior. Munyam, witnessing this transformation, expresses approval. Subsequently, Latif is taken to meet President Saddam Hussein. In the president's office, Saddam joyfully acknowledges Latif as a third son. Exiting the office, Latif encounters Saddam's look-alike, Fawaz, alongside Saddam's younger son, Qusay Hussein. Uday's brother identifies Latif as an imposter. Uday and Latif attend a conference with Kuwaiti leaders. Latif greets the leaders and requests that Uday address them. As Latif leaves the hall, a young boy, mistaking him for Uday Hussein, attacks him. The guards intervene, fatally shooting the boy to protect Latif. Surviving the attack, Latif's safety infuriates Uday, who blames the Kuwaitis, accusing them of stealing oil from Iraq's fields. Uday vows retaliation, convinced his father will eliminate them. In private, Latif confides in Munyam, describing Uday as insane and psychotic. Munyam, aware of Uday's instability, acknowledges the predicament, without an apparent solution. Next, glimpses of the Battle of Kuwait unfold, depicting Iraq's invasion of Kuwait. Meanwhile, Uday's disturbing actions take center stage, as he kidnaps a 14-year-old from the street, coercing her to accompany him to a party. At the event, Uday administers the girl with stuff, rendering her unconscious. During the party, Uday's father's close friend, Kamal Hanna, makes sarcastic remarks about Uday's inappropriate behavior with the young girl. Enraged by the comments, Uday insults and berates his father's friend. Inebriated, Kamal reacts by firing an AK-47 into the air. Uday, present with the drugged girl in his room, intervenes, commanding Kamal to cease his actions, who defiantly claims allegiance only to Saddam Hussein, further infuriating Uday, prompting him to stab and fatally shoot Kamal in front of the assembled guests. The next morning, Uday's guard disposes of the lifeless corpse of the schoolgirl. Saddam is enraged by what his son has done. He arrives at the hospital, where Uday is being treated by physicians due to an overdose of sleeping medications. Saddam beats him and tries to castrate him, but the doctor intervenes and saves Uday's life. Next, it depicts the United States Army's military assault against Iraq in order to compel Saddam Hussein to evacuate his forces from Kuwait, as the Gulf War rages on. One evening, Latif is engrossed in rehearsing a speech for Iraqi soldiers, when Sarab unexpectedly visits his room. Despite Latif's initial objection to her presence, they engage in conversation, and Sarab eventually requests a kiss. Latif, captivated by her, succumbs to their attraction, leading to an intimate encounter. The next day, Latif heads to a military base to meet President Saddam. However, he encounters Saddam's double, who instructs him to travel to another city, and address the soldiers to boost their morale. Latif promptly departs for the warfront, where the soldiers welcome him enthusiastically. During his speech, he uplifts and motivates the troops. On their way back, the group falls into a trap, and an attempt is made on Latif's life. In the ensuing escape, Latif's hand is struck by a bullet, severely injuring his little finger. Admitted to the hospital, he learns that his finger may require amputation. Uday, upon hearing this news, becomes furious, fearing that if Latif loses his finger, Uday would need to amputate his own to maintain their resemblance. Uday rushes to the hospital, threatening the doctors with harm, unless they ensure the preservation of his finger. Amidst the backdrop of the Iraqi army's defeat and retreat from Kuwait, Uday attends a wedding accompanied by Latif and the guards. Spotting the bride, Uday demands that his servant bring her to him, leading to a horrifying incident, where he assaults her, ultimately resulting in her tragically killing herself. Latif, witnessing the atrocity, reaches his breaking point, confronting Uday in a fit of rage. However, the guards intervene, threatening Latif with a gun to his face. Uday, determined to retain control, declares that he will never release Latif. In the evening, Latif confides in Sarab, expressing regret that he did not take more drastic action against Uday. Sarab reassures him, emphasizing that he is not like Uday. Later, the father of the schoolgirl Uday victimized confronts Uday in his office, seeking justice for his daughter. Uday manipulates Latif into engaging with the grieving father, while he eavesdrops from another room. The man accuses Uday of ruining lives in Iraq, branding him a criminal. In a fit of rage, Uday claims the girl had a bad character, but the father vehemently denies it, labeling him a liar and spitting on him. Furious, he orders Latif to kill the man, but Latif refuses, asserting that Uday was the one responsible for the girl's fate. Latif challenges Uday to take responsibility for his actions, and either kill the man himself, or face the consequences. Acknowledging his need for Latif, Uday refrains from killing him, solidifying the twisted dynamics between the two. Subsequently, Latif decides to take matters into his own hands, and attempts to end his own life, slashing his wrists with a knife. Initially amused, Uday becomes alarmed upon witnessing Latif's blood and calls for his guards. They abandon him near his family's home, believing he perished in the war. To their astonishment, Latif is alive, and they bring him into the house, where his family tends to his near-fatal wounds. The next day, Yassim arrives at their home, inviting Latif to Uday's birthday celebration. Latif's father, proud of his son's resilience, urges him to leave the country, and escape from Uday's reach. Latif however fears the repercussions Uday may inflict on his family, and refuses to comply. Despite Latif's concerns, his father encourages him to attend the party, and await the opportune moment. Upon arriving at the club hosting Uday's birthday, Uday is delighted to see Latif return. Despite Uday's orders to stay, Latif announces his departure, challenging Uday to shoot him in the back if he wishes to stop him. Uday fires at him, but the bullets miss, and he retaliates, firing back. Latif and Sarab escape in an elevator, reaching the basement, where a guard stands. Latif disarms the guard, and although urged by Sarab to kill him, Latif spares the guard, emphasizing that he is not Uday. They flee in a car, escaping from Uday's grasp. Upon discovering his escape, Uday confronts his guard in the basement, berating him for failing to stop Latif, and delivering a punch in frustration. Meanwhile, Latif and Sarab manage to flee Iraq, seeking refuge in a city in Malta. As they arrive at a hotel, Uday surprises them with a call, demanding Latif's return to Baghdad, under the threat of harm to his family. Latif is bewildered by how Uday tracked them down, and Sarab reveals Uday's extensive connections in Malta. Sarab discloses that she has a daughter in Iraq with her sister, and implores Latif's assistance in reuniting them. Latif, frustrated by Sarab's earlier silence about her daughter, abruptly leaves the hotel. An assassin dispatched by Uday attempts to kill Latif, but misses. Outside, Latif confronts Sarab, revealing that he obtained the list of outgoing calls from the hotel operator, proving Sarab's collaboration with Uday. Sarab, driven by fear for her daughter's safety, explains that she tried to call her sister. Feeling betrayed, he instructs her to take money from the hotel room and leave. Having severed ties with her, Latif returns to his hotel room. Uday contacts him again, revealing that his father is in Uday's office. When Latif speaks to his father, he is instructed to comply with Uday's earlier demands. Latif's father disowns him, declaring that if Latif returns, he is no longer considered his son. Tragically, Uday proceeds to kill Latif's father. Latif travels to Jordan, and seeks out the man whose bride suffered a fatal fate, being assaulted by Uday. Together, they decide to confront and kill Uday. Returning to Baghdad, they lay in wait in a crowded bazaar, where Uday is attempting to lure young girls. With the assistance of Munyam, they launch an attack when Uday's car stops. In the ensuing struggle, Uday's guards defend him, resulting in the death of the man accompanying Latif. However, Latif manages to get close to Uday's car, and attempts to shoot him in the head. The intervention of a girl with Uday prevents Latif from carrying out the fatal shot. Instead, Latif shoots Uday in the genitals and stomach. Attempting to escape, Latif is caught by Uday's guards, including the one he spared earlier. Surprisingly, the guard lets Latif go. As Uday writhes in pain and is permanently handicapped, the guards call for an ambulance. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.